What is going on, everybody? True believers, good morning to you. My name is Bleeves. This is Breakfast with Bleeves. We're here to talk about, we've got a lot to cover right now. It looks like at a glance, the market is starting to turn bullish again. We're starting to see a lot of different information coming out that's going to tell us that things are improving dramatically more than we thought when we first we really thought that we were coming down a lot further, and maybe we still will. But for right now, Bitcoin long and short ratio hits a multi-month high on Binance. That usually means that there's something big time going on, and that we're probably about to pump because the big money is starting to bet on a bullish push. JP Morgan, in the meantime, saw significant capital from existing crypto products pouring into these new spot Bitcoin ETFs, which mean there's a lot more interest in the Bitcoin ETFs than originally was thought. This was a record-setting ETF launch, by the way, for those of you that are paying attention and those of you watching. More than gold, more than silver, more than any other ETF, Bitcoin was the biggest ETF of all time. Also, technical analysis say, however, that there could be a deeper pullback coming. We're not sure, but perhaps 38K is in the cards. And here's one that you never, and the rock means ever. This is one you never thought you would see coming. Hilary Clinton says that Bitcoin could replace the dollar as the reserve currency. That's right, a Democrat, Hilary Clinton. Hilary Clinton, you know, the one that has the list, you know, that lady. She said that Bitcoin could replace the dollar as the reserve currency. Now, if you're a libertarian, are you now anti-Bitcoin because Hilary Clinton has stepped into the arena and said something good about it? This is going to be an interesting couple of days. I got to tell you, I can't wait to see exactly what's happening. And oh, by the way, Bitcoin and all of cryptocurrency traded with trading volumes of an all-time high over the last for the last week. And then Ethereum, is Ethereum headed to 3,500? A lot of people are saying right now, technical analysis says that Ethereum should be headed to about 3,500 total. So if that's the case, are you hodling or are you fading? You better ask your mama. This is not financial advice, but I'm always right.
It's your boy Bleeves. Everybody listen up. Let's get it. I'm trying to put money in your pocket. That crypto wallet. That bing bada bing ching ching big profit. Even when the market's sideways, I'm looking for ways to get paid. I'm checking my coins around breakfast, then again around bedtime. Bet this, it's not financial advice, but I'm always right. 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 Been around since the 80s and wasn't always cool, especially with the ladies. I was a damn fool. Dad was an alcoholic. Mama, she had to leave him. Grew up around the fighting, the fussing, cussing, and cheating. That's when I started breaking all of the rules. Selling drugs and robbing people. I was kicked out of school. I was a bad kid, tearing shit up. Sleeping on couches with 40 bottles and cigarette butts. Years go by and I got sick. Stage 4 lymphoma, how'd I get this shit? Lucky to be alive, so I changed my ways. I'm on that good life tip today. I'm looking for the good life, good life. Sitting on top of the world, I wanna be shining like diamonds and pearls. I want you to go there with me, girl. I'm looking for the good life, good life. Baby, we can have it all. We can make love out of waterfalls. I'm living that good life.
All right, guys. So here we are. We've got a lot going on in the crypto markets right now. Make sure that you hit the like button on the way in. Thank you so much for your support. So A couple things that are happening right now, and you got to be aware of them. This is going to depend a lot of it on how you feel and whether or not you're ready to. By the way, this is what the new setup is going to look like. We're not exactly there yet, but we're getting there. There'll be, Bleeves will be moved over to the side here just a little bit, and we'll have a little bit of a countdown so that we can go over it. I'm not sure if that's going to be what I want on the countdown yet. Not really sure, but I'm working my way through this all to try to get it ready. But we got some updates happening. You know what I mean? So, but for the moment, we're not ready for that yet. But again, just kind of working our way through it right now, trying to get everything done. And in the meantime, if you happen to be a holder of MYRO, you might be noticing a deep pullback, and that deep pullback might get a lot deeper before it finishes. There doesn't seem to be anything that's been moving the needle for MYRO for a little bit of time, so I would certainly be watching. I would certainly be watching for that. But in the broader crypto market right now, as you can see from this chart right now, we are sitting at neutral on fear and greed index, which is a little bit too much for us to be in that vein. We're clearly on most of the RSIs overbought and not in a great position for the overall market. So, but we are up in 24-hour volume, 28%. To 58 billion. Those are the type of numbers that we're looking at. We need at least $100 billion in 24-hour volume every day to really get that comfortable push going on. Bitcoin's still fighting to stay right near that trillion dollar market cap. So, we'll see how this all plays out. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, it's getting wild. But Bitcoin long to short ratio hits a multi-month high on Binance. The ratio between longs and shorts for Bitcoin on Binance futures has risen to a multi-month high. This metric is considered a barometer of investor anticipation, with a high long-short ratio indicating that more investors have a positive reflection for the Bitcoin price. In the past 24 hours, the long-short ratio has increased sharply to 2.86, according to the Blocks data dashboard, despite Bitcoin retracing gains made since multiple spot Bitcoin exchange traded funds were approved. Now, if you look at the liquidation chart over here, then you'll see kind of what we mean here, in that there's a lot of, you'll start to see as we pull out here that this area down here is going to start to fill in. Remember, it was a little bit blank down here at the bottom of this chart just a couple days ago. Well, now we're starting to get it to fill back in. That means that people are taking long positions, anticipating an aggressive move towards the upside, or basically they're making a bet. And again, all of this right here, remember, this did not exist yesterday. So people are making aggressive bets at this point that Bitcoin is probably on the move towards that upside, and that it would make sense for a nice little pump to be coming. Now, does that pump take us to 50 to 53,000, as a lot of people are saying? I don't know the answer to that. It looks to me like it would. It looks to me like 53,000 is the number that's in the cards, but until we actually see that play out, we can't say. If you if you come around here and you look, then it makes sense that you would want to run up into this 53 range, because that's where the top liquidity just kind of stops on a dime right there, right at about 100 million right there at 52,937. That seems to be the end of the run for liquidity for Bitcoin before it goes into really small numbers all the way down to zero. So potentially we're looking at a run up here, a big time run, and we'll see what happens. But right now, good signs. JP Morgan sees significant capital from existing crypto products pouring into new spot Bitcoin ETFs. It's unclear how much fresh capital the new spot Bitcoin exchange traded funds will attract, but significant funds from other crypto products are expected to pour in, JP Morgan said on a Thursday research report. Now, one of the things that you are finding so far is that Grayscale Bitcoin Trust is also showing up as they're cashing out, by the way. Outflows of, I think, $2.3 billion in the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, but all of that capital, or most of that capital, seems to be moving into the other spot Bitcoin ETFs. So the market reaction to the SEC's reluctant approval of Bitcoin has been relatively muted, with the focus now shifting on how much capital these new ETFs will pull in. We are skeptical of the optimism shared by many market participants at the moment that a lot of fresh capital will enter the crypto space as a result of the spot Bitcoin ETF approval. Now remember, Jamie Dimon, JP Morgan, they always remain bearish on everything. And they are the ones that continue to do the big buys. Still, the bank does not see a significant rotation from existing crypto products into the newly created ETF. So even if no new capital enters the crypto market, the new ETFs could still attract inflows of up to 36 billion. So that's their sneaky way of saying that they're buying the dip. Remember, here's the thing. JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon is out here telling everybody that Bitcoin's going to zero, that everything is a criminal enterprise, that it's rife with drugs and fraud, and just pick your poison here. And Jamie Dimon is telling you that that's what happens. And then in the meantime, he's out here buying up all of this crypto. So just unbelievable what this guy will do. Just the shamelessness. Just the absolute shamelessness of what's going on. Well, let's see. Working on the lighting, trying to get it right. There seems to be something, by the way, on my camera that's causing like this, if I pop this up, then it cools off quite a bit. But now the camera seems to be auto adjusting. It was not doing that before, and it was fine. Just all of a sudden, now I've got this wild. I can do this, but I'm working on the lighting. The lighting is a work in progress. I might go back to the bigger lighting. So but anyway, Jamie Dimon, lying, cheating, manipulating, crazy man, while he buys all the Bitcoin up. So and by the way, speaking of buying all the Bitcoin up, BlackRock continues to make big buys of Bitcoin. So interesting stuff. At some point, there's going to be a run on available Bitcoin, which will lead to an enormous spike in this price. You read it here first, or you heard it here first if you can't read. Bitcoin technical analysis suggests a deep pullback to 38K. Bitcoin has declined over 5% to 42.6 since the spot ETFs debuted. The sell-off continued over the near term, according to an analysis of Bitcoin's price by 10x Research. Now, if you remember 10x Research, I just want to point this out. I do not have my cat anymore, no. But this is gonna be bonkers, okay, guys. Last week or the week before last, do you remember when we had that massive dip? When we had this, let's go to a little bit longer time frame here. This big candle. This is not the one. This big candle right here. This big candle about 2 weeks ago. So that was somebody who said that the Bitcoin ETF was not going to get approved, and that was an opportunity for the market to absolutely wreck. You know what I could do? Move this down over here. So we could get the big candle that's located right there where we had that huge and steep sell down. That one is because of Marcus Thielen, who was allegedly with Matrixport. Okay. Now remember that Marcus Thielen with Matrixport, and then we found out Marcus Thielen doesn't know anything. He was wrong, but they used him in order to manipulate the market with him saying, "Hey, I think this is what's going to happen," right? And they treated it as if it's a done deal, right? Well, here we are again today. CoinDesk, they have no shame. I tell you what, these people have no shame. The sell-off could continue, according to 10x Research. Now, where did I read 10x Research before? Oh, yeah. 10x Research is the company that was founded and owned by Marcus Thielen when he quit Matrixport in December or November. Actually, he quit on November 29. But that was the new company. So this guy's been manipulating the market. And here we are to today, still continuing to use this guy to manipulate the market. Bitcoin's RSI divergence signals correction. He said in a note to clients on Monday, adding the pullback could run out of steam near the dynamic support level of 38,000. A bearish divergence occurs when prices reach a new extreme and momentum indicators like the relative strength index don't, hinting at an upside exhaustion. So he's looking at the bearish divergence that's playing out on the daily. Bitcoin hit a 2-year high above 49,000 last week, which the 14-day RSI failed to confirm. So it is unbelievable that these shameless people keep using the same thing over and over. It's just unbelievable. And by the way, no, the cat is fine. My son moved out. My son moved to he lives like next door to Wrigley Field now. So that was his cat. So the cat went with him. So no more guts over here. Anyway, Hilary Clinton, of the list, she says that Bitcoin could replace the dollar as the world reserve currency. And she is at the World Economic Forum right now. So at the World Economic Forum, the former presidential candidate highlights the potential upside of Bitcoin. The World Economic Forum, held in Davos, Switzerland, is a prestigious gathering that brings together leaders from across the world. In a statement at the forum, former Secretary of State Hilary Clinton expressed her concern about the impact of cryptocurrencies on global finance. Clinton's words reflects a growing debate around the role and influence of digital currencies in the international economic landscape. You might also like, oh no, here we go. I hope nation states start to pay attention to the rise of cryptocurrencies, because what looks very interesting and somewhat exotic effort to literally mine new coins in order to trade them with has the potential to undermine currency, for undermining the role of the dollar as the reserve currency. Now, who else said that? Who said that they think that Bitcoin is a threat to the US dollar? That was Donald Trump. So Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, campaign running mates now. They have the same opinion on cryptocurrency. Don't think that that's not important. Clinton's comments on cryptocurrencies touch upon a broader economic phenomenon called de-dollarization, which is what, this is what Donald Trump is worried about, by the way, de-dollarization. That's why he is anti-crypto. That's why he does not like cryptocurrency, and that he doesn't think that cryptocurrency he doesn't think that cryptocurrency is going to serve us very well. So I'm going to be interested to see how this plays out. It's going to be interesting what happens here going forward. Now, crypto trading volume reached all-time high last week. Now, we didn't get the top 3 trillion market cap that we would like to see, but we did get the record-breaking crypto trading volume. According to CoinShares, digital asset investment products witnessed 1.8 billion in inflows. Still, this impressive number fell short of the record set by one, which reached with the Bitcoin launch of the future Bitcoin ETFs, which reached 1.5 billion in 2021. The large spike in weekly asset flow, however, was much bigger than anything that we had seen before. So a lot of money coming back into the market, a lot of money and positive flows coming in here. So shout out to everybody. That's woo. And by the way, when I want to go back to something that I said before. If you've been trading MYRO on MEXC, shout out to whoever it is. There's like 3 people who have been trading MYRO on MEXC that are signed up with me, and they are making ridiculous, or have made ridiculous amounts of money. They're not shorting, by the way. These are just people that are buying the dip and selling the rip, if you will. And they've been making out like bandits for the last bunch of days. Like, it's been just fantastic to watch, because every once in a while I see people trading Ben, I see people trading Volt, I see people trading a bunch of different tokens that we talk about from time to time on this channel. But man, the people that are on MYRO right now are making out like bandits. It's been unbelievable. By the way, when I say that, it should be noted that MYRO is in kind of a deep plunge. So I don't want to, I'm not telling you today would be the day, you know what I mean, to get back in. But as you can see right here, it dipped all the way down, almost added a 0 back. So we're not having a good run of it right now on MYRO. However, it did touch the 200 MA over here. So, it could be that maybe, just maybe, now that we're in the golden pocket, or now that we've touched down into the golden pocket, that might be the signal for MYRO to have a nice big run again. But the more likely scenario is it's going to move up here to 13.7 cents and then probably reject. I mean, that would, the way it's starting to wane very rapidly, that I would expect that's probably that's probably the short term anyway. And then it could just kind of range around. I mean, it's not done. I don't think it's done. But in fact, here, if you look at this and I give you just what happened the last time, and we look at just real quick what happened over here. We're going to move over to this part and then over to this part and over to this part, right? This is playing out right here. I mean, almost exactly. Now, you're seeing some slight variance on it, but all that is I could just pull this out to extend it for a longer period of time, and then you will see it's the same thing that's playing out. So this could be the impetus that leads into another big rally. And by the way, the rally ends at, for whatever reason, it ends at 33 cents. So it could be that we are about to experience a significant rally from MYRO, but I don't really see I don't really see the strength right now. But again, you didn't see the strength that was happening over here when it started dipping after that secondary. We had the top over here, then we had the secondary pump, then we had the dump, then we had the retest, we had the dump, and we had the retest, and now we're coming down, 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 and we tested this line, and then it started to bounce and take off. Well, now we've tested that line, we're starting to bounce and take off. Now, I don't know if that means that it will happen or not, but that's also the moment where it could all fall back down. So be watching that over the next few hours accordingly. So we'll see if MYRO has what it takes to continue. Now, by the way, Ben Armstrong does feel like it. He's telling people MYRO's in the top 300 and that he thinks it's going to just continue on. And from what I hear, there are announcements that they're going to make that will probably spark a significant rally, but I don't know until, I'm not an insider, so I have no idea, but we'll see. We'll see what happens there. So anyway, Ethereum gearing up for more than 35% surge, according to a top analyst, and that is Pentoshi. And he tells his 742,000 followers on X that he believes Ethereum is on its way to the 3,500 range, the upper level of a range he sees ETH trading in. And he's called for a range up here. And he says, went to the mid-range of the new range we are in, year-long consolidation into mid, expect the high range sometime Q1, early Q2. So he's giving you kind of a lookout here, saying in the next 2 months, you're going to see a $3,500 Ethereum trading at 2.5 right now. And here's what he's basically giving you. I think this is just going to, and he also says Solana right here. Pentoshi is also keeping an eye on Solana, according to the popular analyst, which had a dramatic run in the latter part of 2023. It needs to consolidate sometime before making any new moves. And he's saying that $70 is the potential support line for Solana, that it's trading at 95.45 right now. And for those of you that don't know, or for those of you that didn't follow me last night, I did enter Solana. What we did is we threw $100. What we're going to do is throw $100 into each different one, and we're going to create a little portfolio that's going to just run us through the bull market. And so every day or every other day or every few days, we're going to buy $50 to $100 worth of crypto, and we're just going to put it into one single wallet, and we're just going to watch it grow. And we'll keep track of exactly what we put in every single time, and then we'll see what the inherent value of it is at the end of this run. So basically, we're going to be tracking this thing for about 2 years. What we'll do is we'll find dips as we go. The first and most important part was I wanted to put in a little bit on Solana just in case. Spoiler alert, tonight we're going for Avalanche. So I think we're going to pop into Avalanche. And, I don't know that there's a dip that we need to buy. I think that, I think that Avalanche got a lot of room to grow, especially when you look at the daily back over here. And you see that it was trading at 147 at one point, and right now it's trading at $40. So it's worth throwing $100 into that just to, kind of let it go and see what happens. If the market continues to just absolutely rip as we just keep adding $100 plays in there, One of them is just going to spike and it's going to go absolutely bonkers. But we're going to add first, we're going to add some of the blue chips, if you will, so that we have a good, solid foundation for that portfolio. Then we're going to start doubling down, maybe buying dips, if you will, just to see how that all plays out. But Ethereum, ready for that 3,500 rip. Ethereum is not going to be a big portion of that portfolio, by the way. You know what I mean? So we're gonna, that'll be our transactional money. So you might see it in there from time to time, but it's just going to be for movement of money around. Bitcoin price at risk of drawdown. Ominous on-chain data emerges, and that's what we were talking about before. That people are feeling like, you know, some of this Bitcoin miner influence on the price. Bitcoin miners play an important role in the network. Bitcoin miners' position is currently at a high point of 9.43, showing a usual than normal movement that hints at a potential sell-off. According to Martinez, the latest sell-off might be signal that the worst is past, but further minor sell-offs are possible, and this should guide further engagement in the market. Now, why is that important? Well, we've got the biggest rip that we've possibly had in the last 2 years, and we're getting close to the halving. The difficulty level for Bitcoin is about to go up enormously. So if you're in a weak position and you're a miner, which, by the way, a lot of miners are publicly traded, but if you're in a difficult position, then you're going to need to cash out now. Cashing out later on after it dips is not going to do you any good. You want to cash out near the top because you want to be able to fund yourself, because it's going to get more difficult. Now, if you're in a good position, then you're going to be poised to hold a little bit longer. You'll want to hodl, because if you can hodl for about 6 months, then you're probably going to catch an all-time high. So I think that everybody right now, these miners are weighing that risk to see, you know, what they can do. You're going to want to hold on a little bit longer, but you might be incentivized to have to sell, because this market is just, you know, market is the market. Anyway, and then the World Economic Fund, for those of you that don't know, is meeting right now in Davos. Their focus is on AI and clearer crypto regulation. Now, it's not blurry in a lot of different places. It is in the United States. So this becomes a big issue and a big article. And look, remember, these guys are all about control. These guys are all about telling you what's good for you. These guys are all about controlling the world economy. These are the movers and shakers, if you will. So everything that they're doing right now is, how do we control AI? How do we control cryptocurrency? How do we prevent your freedom and sovereignty? Because the more freedom and more sovereignty you have, the less control the world governments have on you. And if the world governments don't have control of you, they don't have control of anybody. And government is all about control. Now, we say it's about regulation. We say it's about taking care of the needs of the many. Not anymore. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. We're going to start to see a lot of leaks coming out. By the way, I would not follow, if you're looking for this kind of information, read what people say, listen to what people say. If you really want to know, don't read some kind of radical right-wing thing that says that the vampire, blood-sucking, baby eater, whatever magical hit word there is, don't read that. And don't read the leftists, they're coming to take you away kind of garbage either. Just go figure out what they said at the World Economic Forum and then decide for yourself. Don't let people decide for you what to think, because it's wild when that happens. Now, onto the broader market. Bitcoin is looking like it goes a little something like this. So we bounced off of the, remember, by the way, we're at the 0.5 right now. We bounced off of 6.8, and we are, I think, still trending for another breakout again. There's going to be some liquidity sweeps. Those liquidity sweeps, that's 6 months. We're going to move down here to a smaller time frame right now. And this big pool of liquidity right here would signal to me that we're probably heading in that direction. That's the most likely play out at this point. We've come down here. We got 42.6 with a little bit right there. But look, the big pocket of money is up here at, I want to say 43 and a half, 43.5. So 43.5 seems to be where the biggest pool is right now. So the most likely move is going to be towards that upside. Now, the question would be momentum. And would that momentum carry us up any higher? So, and it doesn't look like, I mean, it looks like we could get a pull into 43.8 maybe, but you got to start looking at, there's little spots right here, by the way, when you're looking at these, there's little gaps in the flow, like right here, there's a little gap in the flow right here. That tends to present a top for these liquidity sweeps. So in the event that we get a sweep, then you could expect that it would probably stop in that range, and that range comes in around 43,788. So if we wick up, then that's probably going to be the end, and then we're going to come back down here and we're going to do some range sweeping in the higher time frames going into weekly. In the weekly, then there's a lot of money sitting up here, not nearly as much down here. So these shorts that, all of these people took shorts and they keep thinking that the market's going to continue to go down. All of these people right here could be in for an absolute wrecking. If you come over here, there's $400 million sitting right now at 43,500. There's a gigantic amount of money. Now, by the way, that's not actual capital. That's not the actual amount of money, by the way. That's the amount of margin. So, that if you're 5x, if the average on this is 5x or 10x, then, $30-40 million. But that extends way up here. There's still big pull right here, right at this would be my next target, 44,005. If we could see an enormous spike through this and just absolutely annihilate some of these, that would be a huge amount of liquidity. And by the way, if we could slow down sellers, if you slow down sellers just a little bit with a strong buy presence, then it could absolutely rip all the way up. But there's nothing in this 50,000 range. This is local sellers only. So moving out to the 1 month time frame, kind of looks the same. I mean, you've got these big pools out here that are sitting, but there's nothing really glowing at this point. So, we'll see over the next little while what happens here, but, could be that we get a nice little sweep into this a little bit more than we expect. But the U.S. market is open now, down 160 points. The U.S. sellers are the smellers. So, you know what I mean? That's how it goes. Bitcoin dipping now, 42,600. Continuing to eat up every bit of money that came into the market in the overnights. Absolutely crazy. But moving down the chart here, Ethereum still on a green candle for the day. But again, we're getting that sell-off starting on the on these time frames because the U.S. market has entered the arena, and we'll see how they go. Like, it could be that just a ton of money gets thrown in, and we'll see what happens. Ben, in the meantime, 57.93. Still trying to find its footing down here at the bottom. Now, I'm going to pop this up so you guys can see. And I'm going to ask you to go check this out at your own leisure and figure it out for yourself. But we've got an entire list here. Back-end issues with BenFi have been addressed. New developer is going to be onboarded. Platform development, they're working on a UI, and the completion of the interface for the platform, DApp, and the wallet within the next 2 to 3 weeks. So a lot happening in the background that had not previously been discussed. Exploring potential marketing strategies, including cross-chain giveaways. There's going to be a Solana NFT on the Bencoin Twitter pretty soon. A couple of partnerships in the pipeline, developing a timeline and marketing strategy, which means there's going to be potentially some listings with some of those exchanges that people have been super excited about seeing. Top 15, top 20 exchanges. Another approach to marketing, Ben, involves unique educational and informational content. Planning for some attendance at some of these conferences, like ETH Denver, I think is coming up not too far from now. Progress updates, including the nearing completion of manual migration and the commencement of work on SIM-swap reimbursements, with plans for distribution are underway. So there's a lot going on in the background, but it's a building process. And this building process taking a lot longer than certainly, look, this is a lot longer than Ben thought it was going to take. He was pretty convinced that this is just going to be, just jump on the Harley and ride it on till morning. And it didn't work that way. So, we'll see. We'll start to see some real big movement coming. And in light of that, I'm going to continue right now. AVEC Pay, Avenida Crypto. I've been super bullish about this, and they've had some big spikes up here to 1.6 cents and stuff like that. They had a little sell down the last couple of days, and the developers not concerned about it at all. These are some of the people that they were looking for to kind of exit their positions anyway, and they were apparently they were kind of hoping on it because they weren't sure that those people would be here or hold on for a long period of time. They, for whatever reason, they were not. Anyway, I've seen some screenshots and I've seen some stuff that tell me I'm going to be holding on to this thing for a while because once I saw what they had planned and once I saw the screenshots of what's going on, all I can say is this: I am hodling on AVEC Pay because they've got they've got a lot going on that sometimes you just kind of look at this and you say, well, you know what? Maybe it's just going to take forever. Maybe I'm just going to sit on this and it's going to keep going down, blah, 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 blah. They are way further along than anything that I thought. So, we'll see what happens. Luna Classic, 3/0 right now, but just absolutely no positive momentum happening in these time frames right now. Could be a product of the market. By the way, look at this. We were up $7 billion 1 minute ago, and now we're down 1.2 billion because U.S. market be what the U.S. market be, guys. Just a bunch of jeets that sell off at a moment's notice. Guys, I can't tell you. The U.S. market is the U.S. market. So, but Solana trading at about 95. Luna Classic. Look, I'm looking for Luna Classic to make that rip, but as you can see right here, we're getting so tight right now. We're about to hit bearish momentum. A lot going on, by the way. Got Luna content coming out today, but the 50 and the 200 are about to cross over. That's a bearish divergence or a bearish crossover, death cross, if you will. So there's a lot of little pieces here that are just, look at this, just a massive dump happening as we speak, continuing down 6 billion in total market. The entire market is just dumping. Welcome to America, MFers. You know what I mean? Just ridiculous and crazy. Sometimes it's like that stupid song, I'm proud to be an American, only the reverse. God damn, we embarrass ourselves sometimes. Anyway, Volt 37.36, WAGMI game 16, down 15.4, massive sell-off happening here. Massive sell-offs all around. This is an opportunity, by the way. What we're trying to do now, this is your opportunity. Find your bottom and make sure that you get in on that bottom. And by the way, something's going on here because the money's coming out, but I don't see it going in anywhere. So down 4.5 billion. I just don't see. I don't see where it's going readily. And it could be that it just dumped and now it's hitting the reversal. So we could be just looking at a reversal spike. If we look at it on the 5-minute right now, then we see that massive candle. And now, so we ripped down into 42.3. So if we go to our shorter time frames, we're looking at 42.3 is the number. So let's see what it looks like on a liquidity sweep. It doesn't look like we even came down far enough for any kind of reasonable. Let's look at the 24-hour. So we broke through here, came down, got this, but really it looks like if we're going to do that, then 41.8 seems to be the move all the way down there. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. For the RSI, by the way, if you go to 24-hour, let's go look at this. We've got NFP down here. We've got ACE down here. We've got storage down here. We've got, what was this one right here? This one went crazy. Auction came down into the oversold category and just absolutely ripped its way back up. So still playing out, by the way. So NFP, if you're looking for a project to consider today, NFP. NFP is coming into oversold. When it gets into oversold, might rip. By the way, if you guys remember, we did this the other day. I did this when I saw not Rune, but Avalanche. Avalanche came down in here, was looking oversold, and I was like, you know what? Or no, I'm sorry, Zcash. Zcash was the one. We looked at this one right here, and we were looking at Zcash. That's a 5-minute chart. We don't want to look at that. Anyway, so we looked at Zcash over here, and it was right here when we were doing it, right? And I set a couple of buy orders to keep it coming down, and I got in a little bit high, I think, right here. I got in at this little range right here, and then I DCA'd my way down until I ended up getting liquidated down here at the bottom on that candle right there. But look what happened right afterwards. If I would have just kept the leverage a little bit lower and maintained on that, then look at that rip right there. That would have been a gigantic move to the upside. And by the way, my take profit was sitting at $25 because of this move right there. 25.45, I want to say, was the spot right in that little range right there. It was probably a little bit lower than where it hit, but screw that one up myself by going just a little bit too aggressive right here, and it still continues to dip. But the reason that I picked it up was because it was down here in this crypto market RSI heat map. When it comes down into this range, then these things tend to rip pretty hard, like that auction one did. If you look at, you look at some of these on these longer time frames, when they're coming into the neutral on longer time frames, they're just kind of ripping back to the upside. So once you start finding these things like coming all the way down, so this one, by the way, probably wrapped ETH maybe. You got Power, you got Pepe coming down into weak category. You've got Optimism. Optimism runs pretty strong, by the way. So I would be looking at Optimism as one of your key plays if you're looking to make some kind of move like that. The rest of the market over here, let's move back up here, and we're down $10 billion on the day. Way to go, USA. You're doing it, man. USA. Over here, you've got a bunch of different, just everything's basically dumping. So America, F yeah. So anyway, now it's time to pay the bill in this biatch. What's going on, guys? Cryptonomy.finance. I do have an incredible promo event. Follow Cryptonomy_fi. Make your deposit at Cryptonomy.finance. Like and retweet the post and tag 3 friends who love Solana. As you can see right here, earned about 0.0014 Bitcoin. When we get to our fixed levels, my tether so far, $4,345, I've actually earned $251 in accrued interest. For my XRP, 224 XRP, Ethereum 0.09, Ethereum, Bitcoin, we've got 0.008, 0.008, also about $500. Of course, these ranges were a little different. I was using a little bit more. And then we have the long-term one that I set up over here as well, 0.01. The launch pool. Guys, I want to stress, like, this is where the money has been made. My position right here, you can see right now, we've accrued interest of $19,000. By the way, the reason for that is very simple, because if you get in on the launch pool. And some of these, when you get something big, like 9.74, and you're in on 18x return or a 7% return, another 8 right there. Once you start to get these big returns, that's when you start to get the big rewards. So we put a heavy amount into this. What I'm going to do, we're going to look up some Solana. And so we're going to throw in the maximum amount for Solana. We're going to get 25 Solana, and then we're going to continue here. We're going to do the 12-month rate since that's 103%. Boom. Now we have another holding. On the My Deposits here, you're going to see that one up there at the top. Best percentage rate right now. Fantastic. Make sure you check out Cryptonomy.finance. All right, so we got to close this out. We got honestly seems like a good idea, and this is Book's brother here with trying to integrate cannabis with crypto. I don't understand why people think that this is going to be a huge business. I don't understand why a lot of people are saying these kinds of things. That doesn't mean that I'm right, by the way. But how does the question for one of these is, how do I make money as an investor with my crypto because somebody's selling cannabis? That's the question. Like, how does that come back? Is it a portion of the proceeds or a portion of the profits? And if it is, then how much do you have to sell in order to make money for your crypto project? So Tokenization of real world assets, I think, is going to be very important in the upcoming days, weeks, months, and years. But I think it's going to be a lot bigger. It's going to have to be on a lot higher scale. For example, if you tokenize, if you tokenize Apple stock, if you tokenize the stocks for these companies, then you've got assets. That's worthwhile. But to just say that, hey, I've got a weed company and I'm going to make a crypto for that, the question still becomes, all you're doing is making memes. You know what I mean? All you're doing, if you got this project that's just making memes, that doesn't generate revenue. The whole idea here is that we forget, which is, we have so many cryptos in the gambling portion here, the degen community. There's one question: what real world asset does it conquer? What does it do to generate revenue? And then what is your cut of that revenue as an investor? And those are the questions that have to be answered in order to turn this into a legitimate thing. In the meantime, it's just a speculative sort of thing. And here's the other part. One company can grow up and become a gigantic company for sure. But if you just have a dispensary and you're gonna sell to a dispensary, your product, depending on the size of the farm, what I would want to know is what's the yield of whatever the project is. And by the way, it doesn't have to be, it could be anything, but it would be, what is the yield of it? What is the profit margin on it? What is the profit margin cut going into the tokenization of the real world, going into the crypto? And what is the profit, or what is the yield return? What is expected of me as an investor and holder? Do I need to hold an NFT in addition to the tokens? There's a complicated process here that, if you can answer the right questions and there's enough money in it, then sure, I think it's a great opportunity. But for most of these, they're not. So I would be nervous about anything other than, maybe it pumps before it dumps. You know what I mean? Otherwise, we'll see what happens. Anyway, so yeah, it's time for me to go. I gotta get ready for the Bears. So it's not financial advice. My name is Bleeves. I'm always right. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate each and every one of you guys taking the time to come check me out. And then here is my brother.
I can read a chart like Superman, and I've got a show that has a lot of fans. I'm streaming every day and almost every night, and I bought some Bitcoin to see the light. They call me Bleeves. I'll do any chart you want to. They call me Bleeves. They call me Bleeves. I'll break a crypto wallet down for you. I built a crypto channel with a YouTube stream, and all of the YouTube shillers, I'm in a dream, but I stay up late.